sequence. And it's not called an arithmetic sequence. And an arithmetic sequence is a sequence that adds the same number each time. It could be a positive number. It could be a negative number. So if I go 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm technically adding -1 each time. And the common difference is the number being added. So it can be negative. Generally, you'll be able to look at the list of numbers and figure out what's being added. But in case you can't, if you want to figure out the common difference, you take any term. So you can take any of the numbers in your list and subtract the one before it. So subtract the previous term. So questions 1 through 6 is you're going to tell me if it's arithmetic. So are you adding the same number all the way across? And if so, what is the common difference? So what is that number that's being added? So let's look at number 1. Now you don't need to look at just the first couple of numbers. Look all the way across, because sometimes you'll get questions that are there to trick you that they add the same until the last two and then it swaps. So you've got to check all the way across your sequence. So how do I get from 5 to 8? At 3? Does that pattern continue all the way across? So yes, it is arithmetic, which means the common difference is 3 because we were adding 3 each time. Number 2. What's happening? We're adding -7 or subtracting 7. Double check to make sure that is true all the way across. And it is. So my common difference is -7. Number 3. It's not, because this right here would be +1 plus 1 plus 2. So as soon as you add a different number, it's not arithmetic. What about number 4? Yep. What's the common difference? -2. Number 5. If you don't know, take any term, subtract the one before it.
Oh yeah.
No, not 0.23. -23 minus -35. So it looks like my difference might be 12. So -23 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12. Yep. So yes. Yid. Yes. D equals 12. What about number 6?
Yeah.
Yep. Do you all agree?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
No.
It's a 4, -4.
It looks, you just glancing at it, you're going to be like, oh yeah, 10 or -10. But from 14 to 4, that's a -10. How do I get from 4 to -4?
Subtract.
Subtract 8
Why does it do it like that?
to trick you. So it's a no. So with arithmetic sequences, we can come up with a formula to help us find any term in the list. So instead of doing plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, we can write a formula. And that formula is AN equals, so AN, we talked about that in the first lesson. That just means any term. If I plugged in a 7 there for N, I could find the 7th term. So AN equals, and it's D. In parentheses, we put N minus 1 plus on the outside A1. So what does D represent? The difference, the common difference. What does A1 represent? The first term. Oh. And then depending on which term I ask for, that's what you'll plug in for N. Okay. So we're going to do two things. We're first going to find the formula and simplify the formula. We're not going to do anything with the 24 first. We're going to get that formula down. And then we're going to plug in a 24 to that. So let's see. AN equals, what's my common difference? 4. And then in parentheses, we're going to leave N minus 1. We're not going to plug in a 24 there yet because we want the complete formula. Plus, what's my A1? Negative 5. So you could have went ahead and just said minus 5 there. Now we have to simplify, meaning we have to distribute and then combine like terms. So 4n minus 4 minus 5.
Do we have to write our A like that, or can we use the capital?
You can use a capital, it's fine. 4n minus 9. So this is the formula that will give us any term that we want. And I have specifically asked you for the 24th term. So I'm going to find A24, which is 4 times 24 minus 9. And we get 87. Let's do number 8 together. So AN equals, what's my common difference? What'd you say?
What if it doesn't have a common difference?
I'm going to give you ones that are arithmetic for these. The ones that you have to write a rule and find a term, it's definitely going to already be arithmetic. This one is negative 9 because it subtracts 9 each time. And then in parentheses, n minus 1 plus, what's my first term? 20. When I distribute, I get negative 9n plus 9 plus 20. Which is negative 9n plus 29. That's my formula, or you might see it referred to as a rule. Write a rule or formula. And this time I'm asked to find the 15th term. So I'm going to find A15. And you should get negative 106. I want you to try number 9 on your own. Okay, for the formula, negative 3n minus 3. And then when you plug in 38, you get negative 117. Any questions? So we're going to do a few just different types of questions using what we know about common difference, what we know about the formula. So a lot of times you just kind of have to think through, what do I have? How am I going to find this? Okay. So 10, 11, and 12, I'm telling you it's an arithmetic sequence, and I want you to find the missing terms. In order to do that, you have to be able to come up with the common difference. You could potentially guess and check to try to figure it out, but I'm going to show you mathematically how to do it. And there's a couple of ways. I actually showed it a different way in first, and then I decided this other way might be easier. So these are just 3 random terms in the sequence. It does not matter which 3. So let's just say this is A1, A2, and A3. I could pick any 3 consecutive numbers. A7, A8, A9. It would come out the same. But any 3 random terms. To find the common difference, it kind of looks a little bit like slope. So we have a fraction. On the top, we do 40 minus negative 20. So we take these big numbers and subtract them. And then we subtract which term they are. 3 minus 1. This would be 60 over 2, which is 30. So my common difference is 30. So if I go back to my original sequence, if I add 30 to negative 20, what do I get? 10. Is 10, if I add 30 to that, do I get 40? Yes. So number 11, I can make these, I can make it A6, A7, A8, A9. I could use 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't matter as long as you pick 4 consecutive terms. So I'll do 49 minus 31 on top, and then 9 minus 6 on the bottom. And then you should get 6 for your common difference. Which means I can go back to the blanks and add 6 every time. 31 plus 6 is 37. Plus 6 is 43. Double check. Is 43 plus 6 49? Sure is. Try number 12. So here you should get a common difference of negative 6. 22 minus 6 is 16. Minus 6 is 10. Minus 6 is 4. Alright, any questions on those? Alright, next one. We're told it's an arithmetic sequence. We're writing a rule, or writing the equation, and finding a specific term. In order to write the equation, in order to write a rule, we need D, and we need, what else are we required to have for the formula? What else does the original formula ask for? Common difference and which term?
First term.
The first term. We have to have those two in order to write a rule. So we need common difference and our first term. Looking at what information I'm given, do I have the common difference? No. It does not tell me D equals whatever. Do I have a 1? Yes. So to find the common difference, we're basically going to do it just like we did up here. So I know I have two separate terms. So I can take negative 7 minus 3 on the top, and then 3 minus 1 on the bottom. And that gave me my common difference. And now I have the two things that I need for the formula. And my formula was AN equals D, which is negative 5, and then in parentheses, N minus 1 plus A1, which is what? 3. So if I distribute negative 5n plus 5 plus 3, which is negative 5n plus 8. And then it asks for a 12. So I'm going to take a 12 and plug in for n. And we get negative 52. So number 14, we'll start with finding the common difference. 6 minus negative 17 over 24 minus 1. And we get 1. Then we're going to plug that, because we now have the common difference and the first term. So now I can plug that into the formula. So I have my common difference of 1 times n minus 1 plus negative 17. And then we will distribute and simplify. And we get n, or 1n, minus 18 for my formula. And then to find the 12th term, we plug in a 12 for n. And 12 minus 18 is negative 6. Are there any questions? I want you to try number 15. So number 15, I saw a lot of people either not distribute, they just brought down the negative 1, or they put a plus 4 instead of a minus 4. So a lot of little things they just kind of keep building on each other and your answer gets way off. And then it was specifically asking for the 12th term. So that's what we plug in. We plug in the 12 because that's the one it told us to find. Now this next row of questions, it says to find a 50. We're going to find a 1.
Will we ever have problems like that?
Like a 50. If we might, then we'll practice. It just basically is like 2 problems in one. So I'm going to remind you that our formula is this. So in problems 16 through 18, I have given you the common difference and I've given you some random term. Well, we know that an really means just any random term. So which random term did I give you? I gave you the 25th term. So I'm going to replace an with A25 because that's information I gave you. So what is n going to be? 25. So I have A25 equals, do I know my common difference? 10. And 5. What I don't know is A1. Now, I do know what A25 equals, though, right? What is it? 217, because my problem gave that to me. So 217 equals, what do I get when I multiply this? 10. It would be 10 times 24. 25 minus 1. 240. Plus A1. And then if I subtract 240, that'll give me my A1. So what's 217 minus 240? Negative 23. So if I said now find A50, you would have to take the A1, you'd have to make a formula. So take your A1, put it in here, put your common difference in there, and then plug in a 50 for n. So it would just be do this first and then do what we've been doing. Okay, so it's got a lot of steps. right, number 17. It gave me a random term, so that's what I'm going to use. A17 equals my common difference of -10, and then in parentheses, I'm going to do 17 minus 1 because we know the 17th term, plus A1. And I know that A17 is -176. And then when I multiply this, -10 times 16, that's -160 plus A1. And then if I add 160 to both sides, I get -16 equals A1. Try number 18 on your own. I got A1 equals -7. So right here, when you do 7 times this, if you're going to type this in the calculator, make sure you put the 31 minus 1. Or just do 7 times 30. Surely you can subtract 1 in your head. So 7 times 30 is 210. Okay. Now our last types of questions that we're going to see. I've given you the first term. I've given you a random term. And then I've given you another term, but you don't know which number that is. So like, I know the first term, I know the fifth term, and I know one of the numbers is 178. What I'm asking you to find is that number. Which number, how many numbers in the sequence until I get 178. So what's one big piece of information that I'm missing that I probably need? The difference, the common difference. So we can use these two right here to find the common difference. Just like we did in 10 through 15. We found the common difference. So I can do 43 minus 7 over 5 minus 1. And I get 9 for my common difference. Once you have found that, I don't really need this anymore. That was really just there to help me find the common difference. So I can fill in all of the pieces of information that I know into the formula. So I know AN equals 9, n minus 1 plus 7. Do I know what AN equals? Like what number? 178. So I can put a 178 there. This would be 9n minus 9 plus 7. Which is 9n minus 2. And then if I add 2, I get 180 equals 9n. So what's n? 20. So that meant that the 20th term, if I started at 7 and added 9, it would take 20 numbers to reach 178. Let's do number 20. So I have to start with my common difference. Negative 4 minus 4 is negative 8. Over 4 is negative 2. I'm going to go to my formula. And if on the first step, if you want to just go ahead and start with negative 30, that's fine. But I kind of leave that because some people don't remember, like, how did I get the negative 30. So I like to write it starting with AN, and then we say, oh, well, we know that AN is negative 30. So I can replace that. So then I distributed, and then I will combine like terms. And then if I subtract 6, I get negative 36 equals negative 2n. And then if I divide by negative 2, I get 18 equals n. On these questions where you're finding n, you're finding what number term, it would not make sense for you to have a decimal, and it would not make sense for you to have a negative number. So if you get a negative or a decimal on these specifically, where you're looking for n, you probably messed up somewhere. I want you to do number 21. So you should get n equals 13. And so as I'm guiding you through the problems, after we've done a couple examples, it probably doesn't seem as bad. But once we start just mixing in all of these together, you're going to have to be aware, okay, what do I need? To write a formula, you've got to have a common difference, you've got to have the first term. And sometimes it's just playing around with what you have to see what you can figure out. Because sometimes you might have to find the first term before you can find something else. So it's kind of like a puzzle. You kind of got to go through the paths to find each missing piece. And we'll do some more practice with these types of questions, not tomorrow, next week.